the twins screamed. Not normal cries, but high-pitched, shivering wails that echoed through the hollow metal hallways of the station. Kale Ren stumbled around the corner of the feeding chamber, mop bucket in hand, heart hammering. Sparks flew from a broken console, hitting the floor with sizzling pops, and the smell of burnt circuits made him cough. He froze for a moment, staring at the tiny creatures huddled together. Their scales shimmered faintly, almost like soft starlight, but their eyes were wide with fear and hunger. They hadn't eaten in hours, maybe days. Kale dropped the mop bucket with a clatter. "Hey, it's okay, little ones. I'm here." His voice sounded small in the vast, empty hall, but he tried anyway. One of the twins recoiled, wings trembling, a faint hiss escaping its tiny mouth. The other twitched, eyes locked on Kale's shadow as if measuring him. Kale felt a rush of panic, but he pushed it down. He had to act fast. If the sparks reached their nest, the twins could be burned, or worse, permanently scared. He grabbed a fire suppression tool hanging nearby and pressed the nozzle. A cloud of foam shot out, cooling the nearest sparks. The twins flinched, eyes wide, but did not move away. Kale realized they were watching him, trying to understand whether he was friend or danger. His hands shook as he reached down, slowly extending his palm. One twin sniffed the air, hesitant, before touching his glove with its tiny claw. Relief surged through Kale's chest. A small victory, but it didn't feel enough. The hall echoed with sudden mechanical beeps. Alien scientists' voices crackled over the intercom. "Human interference in the feeding chamber is unauthorized. Evacuate immediately." Kale ignored them. He couldn't leave the twins to shriek in terror while the sparks still popped around them. He scanned the room, eyes landing on a rolling cleaning bot. With no time to think, he pressed the activation button. The little bot whirred to life, scooting toward the twins and nudging them gently, like a playful toy. The effect was immediate. One twin tilted its head, curiosity sparking behind the fear. Good, you can trust me," Kale whispered. He knelt on the cold metal floor, motioning the twins closer. "Let's not be scared of a few sparks, okay?" One of the twins edged toward the foam-covered floor, wings quivering. The other stayed behind, but its eyes followed every move Kale made. He felt the weight of the station's silence pressing down, the alien staff hovering outside, watching, judging, waiting for him to fail. A loud pop from the ceiling made Kale duck. Debris fell near the twins. They screeched, scattering in panic. His pulse spiked. He lunged, using his body to shield the nearest twin from falling metal shards. Foam hissed as it hit hot sparks, and Kale's sleeve caught a tiny flame. He swiped it away, but the twins shrieked again, wings flaring. He had to calm them, fast, or they might hurt themselves trying to escape. Kale grabbed a small sphere from the janitor's cart, one of those harmless cleaning drones shaped like a ball. He tossed it gently, letting it roll near the twins. The nearest twin tilted its head, then tapped the ball with a tiny claw. It wobbled and rolled, making a soft clicking sound that seemed to mesmerize the creature. Kale smiled despite the chaos. A tiny triumph. The other twin cautiously stepped forward, nudging the first one. Their tiny mouths opened. He froze, heart thumping. Nothing came out. Not yet. But the moment stretched. A pause, a fragile silence filled only by the hiss of foam and the sparks fading on the floor. Kale knew he had seconds to act before panic returned. He crouched lower, making himself small and non-threatening, and whispered, "You can try it, see how it feels." The first twin batted the ball again. Its tiny teeth grazed the surface. A small squeak, maybe curiosity, maybe the first bite. Kale's chest lifted in hope. Then a loud alarm shrieked, shaking the floor beneath them. Red lights flashed, bathing the chamber in harsh color. Kale stumbled backward, pressing himself over the twins. The second twin's eyes widened, and it hissed sharply. Sparks flew again, triggered by the electrical surge. Foam splattered across the floor. Kale's hands flew, trying to keep both creatures safe. A shadow moved behind him. He turned sharply. The queen appeared. Massive, terrifying, but elegant. Her scales shimmered like liquid metal, eyes glowing with judgment. She let out a low rumble that shook the walls. Kale froze, heart racing. If she attacked, the twins were doomed. But then she tilted her head slightly, observing, not attacking. Kale realized something. She was curious, watching, waiting, and maybe she was judging him. His palms were sweaty, knees trembling, but he swallowed his fear. He had to keep the twins calm. He had to show her humans were more than weak, clumsy creatures. He had to prove courage could mean more than strength. One twin batted the ball again. Its tiny mouth opened wider. Kale held his breath. Then the softest click, The tiniest bite, just enough to taste. Relief surged, but there was no time to celebrate. The alarm still blared. Sparks still fell. And the Queen's eyes never left him. Kale knew this was only the beginning. And then, a panel overhead cracked and sparks rained down like starlight, the twins' tiny screams mixing with the roaring alarms. Kale lunged again, heart pounding, ready for whatever would come next. The next challenge was already falling from above. Kale scrambled across the slippery floor, foam dripping from his sleeves, the twins clinging to his arms as best they could. Sparks still crackled from the broken ceiling panels, sending tiny arcs of electricity through the air. One twin whimpered, its wings folding tight against its back, trembling. Kale pressed his body over it, shielding it from the worst of the sparks, and whispered, "It's okay. Just a little further." He darted toward the nearest hatch, hoping it would lead to a safer section of the chamber. Every step was a risk. A wrong move could fling the twins into danger. Behind him, the second twin kept its distance, watching him carefully. Its little claws scratched the floor as if unsure whether to follow. Kale glanced back, heart hammering. "Come on. You can do it," he urged, using his voice as both encouragement and warning. His words sounded small against the blaring alarms, but they carried urgency. The twins needed him and he had to act fast. He reached for a rolling cleaning drone and pressed the activation button. The bot whirred to life and nudged a stray bolt toward the second twin. Curiosity flickered in its eyes. It took a tentative step, then another. Kale exhaled, relief washing over him. Small victories mattered in this chaos. One twin safe, moving. The other twin's curiosity was stronger than fear. Suddenly, a new alarm blared from the station's main system. A low, mechanical voice crackled over the intercom. "Human interference detected. Evacuate feeding chamber immediately. Non-compliance will result in containment." Kale's stomach twisted. Containment. That was not a threat to him, it was a threat to the twins. He couldn't leave them behind. He darted toward a storage console, shoving aside panels to reveal floating food pods. The twins stared at them, glowing faintly with anticipation, but recoiled at every spark. Kale had an idea. He grabbed a few pods and tossed them lightly toward the twins, letting them float in zero gravity like tiny games. One twin hesitated, then flicked its tongue out and caught a pod. Its small body twitched with surprise as the taste hit. Kale's heart leapt. Yes, that's it. The other twin hovered nearby, wings flicking nervously. Kale made a soft clicking sound, imitating the pod's movement. The twin tilted its head, curiosity pushing past fear. Slowly, it inched forward and nudged a pod. Its tiny teeth grazed the surface. Another success, a tiny bite. Kale smiled, though the sparks still danced dangerously around him. Then the worst happened. A section of the ceiling panel gave way, sending a cascade of sparks and small debris straight toward the twins. Kale's instincts kicked in. He lunged, grabbing the first twin and rolling to shield the second with his body. Foam hissed as it hit hot sparks, lighting up the chamber in bursts of white and blue. The twins shrieked, terrified, but remained in his arms. Kale's mind raced. He had to get them out of the feeding chamber now. He grabbed a mop handle and poked at the sparks, pushing them away from the twins, trying to create a safe path to the hatch. Sparks flew across his face, singeing his hair, but he ignored the pain. Every second counted. One wrong move and the twins could be injured or worse, completely terrified. The Queen's shadow fell over him again. She hovered near the broken panel, massive and intimidating. Her scales shimmered with every flicker of the alarm lights. Kale froze, heart thudding. She rumbled, low and deep, sending vibrations through the metal floor. The twins stiffened in fear. Kale knew one wrong gesture and she could destroy everything. But then, something surprising happened. She watched. Not attacking, just watching. Kale understood, he had to prove himself. He set the twins down gently, keeping his hands nearby in case of panic. He picked up the floating pods again and began rolling them slowly, encouraging play. "It's just a game," he whispered. "No one's going to hurt you." The twins' cries softened. One tapped a pod with a tiny claw, then another. Soft bites. Progress. The Queen's eyes narrowed and Kale felt the weight of her judgment. He took a deep breath, ignoring the fire in his sleeves and the alarm scream, and rolled a pod directly to her massive shadow. Her head tilted just slightly. The twins noticed. Their wings fluttered with excitement. Kale realized he had bought himself a moment of trust, however fragile. But there was no time to relax. Sparks continued to rain, the alarms blaring louder, and the station's emergency systems were starting to flash red. Kale grabbed another pod and lobbed it into the air, letting it spin toward the far side of the chamber. The twins chased it, claws scraping lightly across the metal floor. One pod floated out of reach and Kale shot forward, sliding on the foam, catching it just in time. The twins squeaked, thrilled. He had earned another small victory, but the danger was far from over. Then a sharp crack from above made the foam spray and the lights flicker. The ceiling panel threatened to collapse completely. Kale froze for a heartbeat, calculating. There was no clear path to safety. The twins were tiny, fragile, and terrified, and the Queen's gaze was fixed on him, watching every move. He realized that to survive, to save the twins, he would have to act faster, smarter, and braver than he had ever acted in his life. Kale inhaled sharply, gripping both twins close. He had to jump. Over sparks, over debris, over the chaos of alarms and falling panels. One wrong move and everything would be lost. He sprang forward. And just as his hands left the floor, the chamber's emergency lights flickered, revealing a strange symbol glowing faintly on the far wall, one neither he nor the twins had noticed before. The symbol pulsed, almost alive, and a chill ran down Kale's spine. What was it? Why was it glowing now? The answer didn't wait for him. Sparks flew higher, alarms screamed louder, and Kale realized the chamber itself was about to collapse. He had to act now, or the twins would never survive. Kale landed hard, foam splashing around his knees, twins clutched tightly to his chest. Sparks rained from above, and a sharp metallic screech echoed through the chamber as another panel gave way. He scrambled forward, pressing the first twin to his shoulder and nudging the second along with his free hand. Their small bodies trembled against him, wings fluttering helplessly. He could feel their tiny hearts racing. One false step and they could be hurt, or worse, separated from him in the chaos. Then the symbol on the far wall glowed brighter, pulsing with a strange rhythm. Kale's brow furrowed. He had never seen markings like these before. They seemed alive, as if watching him. A cold thought struck him. Maybe the twins were connected to it somehow. Maybe the reason they refused food wasn't just hunger, it was instinct. Something deeper. Kale's mind raced. He needed a plan. He couldn't just escape, the twins wouldn't move without him. And the symbol, whatever it was, might be key to calming them. He remembered the small bioluminescent patterns on their scales. They pulsed faintly, almost matching the rhythm of the wall symbol. Could it be a language? A signal? Kale had no time to analyze, only time to act. He gently set one twin down and tapped the pod near it. The twin watched, then mimicked his motion, nudging the pod toward the glowing wall. Kale's heart leapt. The twin wasn't just following, it was interacting. Encouraged, he rolled the second pod and the other twin hesitated, then mirrored the action. Together, they nudged the pods in a rhythm and the wall symbol pulsed faster, brighter. Sparks around them flickered and for a moment the alarm seemed quieter. Kale felt a surge of hope. Okay, he whispered, speaking softly even as the chamber shook. You're teaching me something. I think I get it. One tiny claw tapped the pod again, then another. The symbol on the wall shimmered and expanded slightly as if acknowledging them. Kale realized the twins were not just creatures, they were part of something bigger. A message. A mechanism. A living code. Before he could process more, a low rumble shook the floor. The Queen appeared in the doorway, massive and silent. Her glowing eyes scanned the chamber, resting on Kale and the twins. The alarms made her shimmer in flashes of red light. She let out a low, vibrating growl that made Kale's chest tighten. Every instinct screamed for him to back away, but he couldn't. The twins' trust depended on him. Kale squared his shoulders. He held the twins close and approached the Queen slowly, carefully, showing no aggression, only calm and confidence. I'm not here to hurt them, he said, voice steady despite the fear curling in his gut. I just want to help. That's all. One twin nuzzled his shoulder, seemingly agreeing. The other tapped the floor, nudging a pod toward the Queen's shadow. Kale held his breath. The Queen's massive head tilted slightly. Her gaze shifted to the pods. Slowly, ever so slowly, she lowered herself to the floor, watching. The twins chirped softly, nudging the pods closer, their eyes sparkling with a mix of fear and curiosity. Kale realized that his actions, his courage, his patience, his willingness to engage without violence, were being measured. A sudden, sharp hiss of escaping steam erupted from a broken vent. The twins recoiled, wings folding tight, and Kale spun, shielding them again. Sparks shot out from the ceiling. He lunged to push them out of the path, but in that instant, the Queen raised her head and let out a sweeping motion of her tail, brushing away the worst of the falling debris. Kale barely had time to realize she wasn't attacking, she was protecting them. His heart pounded. The impossible had just happened. A human and a legendary alien working together in the same moment of crisis. He took a step back, giving her space but never letting go of the twins. One small victory after another. The twins were calmer now, interacting with him and the glowing wall. Their first real bites of food had triggered a connection Kale didn't fully understand yet, but he felt it. Some bridge had been formed between species. Then came the next shock. The wall symbol began to shift, forming new lines, new patterns. Kale stepped closer, eyes wide. The twins chirped excitedly, wings flicking. He could feel it pulsing under the floor as if responding to their small movements. Whatever this was, it wasn't just decoration, it was alive or something close to it. It was communicating, and somehow the twins were key. A sudden shudder ran through the chamber, stronger than before. One of the ceiling supports cracked loudly, sending a heavy beam swinging toward them. Kale reacted instinctively, shoving both twins behind him, rolling out of the way. The beam slammed into the floor with a deafening crash, throwing sparks and smoke into the air. The twins squeaked but were unharmed. Kale's heart was racing. Each second brought danger but also revelation. The twins were more than creatures. They were a signal, a puzzle, maybe even a weapon or key to something far greater. He glanced at the queen. She watched him, unblinking, her massive eyes reflecting the glowing symbol on the wall. She didn't attack. She didn't leave. She waited. Kale felt a chill of understanding. This was bigger than him, bigger than the feeding chamber, bigger than anything he had ever imagined. One twin nudged the pod toward the wall again, and the symbol pulsed brighter than ever. Kale's breath caught. He realized that in this chaos, in the sparks and screams, he had stumbled upon something extraordinary. He had no idea what it meant. But one thing was certain. The twins, the queen, the symbol, they were all connected, and he was at the center of it. Before he could think further, a section of the wall suddenly opened, revealing a narrow corridor bathed in pale alien light. From inside, a low hum vibrated through the floor, sending the twins into a frenzy of chirps and wing flutters. Kale felt a surge of both fear and curiosity. Whatever lay ahead was unknown, but he knew he had to follow. And just as he stepped forward, a sharp crack echoed from above, and another ceiling panel began to fall. Kale grabbed the twins, heart pounding, realizing the danger wasn't over. Not by far. The next step could change everything. Kale sprinted through the narrow corridor, twins clutched against his chest, foam still dripping from his sleeves. The pale alien light flickered along the walls, revealing strange, living patterns etched into the metal. They pulsed faintly, almost like the twins themselves, and Kale's mind raced. He had no idea what these symbols meant, but instinct told him they were connected. If he could understand them, maybe he could protect the twins. Behind him, the chamber had erupted into chaos. Sparks fell like rain, alarms screamed, and the queen's massive shadow lingered at the entrance, watching. Kale didn't look back. Every second counted. One wrong move and the twins could be crushed, burned, or lost forever. He darted around a corner, dodging a swinging panel, his heart pounding in his ears. A low rumble vibrated through the corridor. Kale froze, clutching the twins tighter. The floor trembled beneath him as though the station itself were alive, reacting to the chaos. Then he saw it, a massive maintenance hatch swinging open ahead, revealing a gaping drop into the station's lower levels. Sparks and broken wires fell from the ceiling above. The twins whined, wings beating frantically. Kale's mind worked in overdrive. There was no time to hesitate. He had to act now. He leapt, sliding along the edge of the hatch and using the wall for leverage. The twins clung to him, quivering, but he whispered calm words, guiding them with careful movements. One slip and they would tumble into the abyss below. Kale's muscles burned, but determination surged stronger. They were counting on him. Humans could survive danger, think quickly, and protect what others deemed impossible. As he landed safely on the other side, Kale noticed the glowing wall symbols ahead shifting, forming new shapes. The twins' bioluminescent scales mirrored the symbols, flickering in sync. Kale realized with a shock, the twins were not just following him, they were activating the station's systems, somehow interfacing with the living architecture. He felt a thrill. If he could use this, they might escape safely. A sudden roar behind him froze him in place. The queen had followed, massive wings spread, glowing eyes fixed on him. Sparks scattered from her scales as the alarm reflected off her shimmering body. She advanced, slow and deliberate. Kale's stomach twisted. One wrong move, one misstep, and the twins could be crushed between the queen's immense weight and the collapsing corridor. But Kale did not hesitate. He stepped forward, holding the twins in front of him, showing no fear, only resolve. "You want them safe?" he whispered, voice steady. So do I. He rolled one of the pods toward the twins, letting it float gently in the zero-gravity corridor. The first twin reached for it, tapping the pod with tiny claws. The second did the same. Kale watched as the queen paused, tilting her head, studying the scene. Her eyes flicked between him, the twins, and the glowing symbols. She wasn't attacking, yet. She was testing him. The ceiling groaned above. A large panel cracked, sending sparks and debris raining down. Kale reacted instinctively, shifting his body to shield the twins. Foam hissed from the broken pipes, filling the corridor with smoke. The twins chirped nervously, but Kale whispered, "You're okay. Keep going." He rolled another pod ahead, creating a path of distraction, keeping their attention forward. The queen rumbled, low and threatening. Sparks arced from her claws as she tested the corridor for safety. Kale knew she could crush him in an instant, but she didn't. She was curious, waiting for him to prove worth. His heart pounded, adrenaline surging. This was the ultimate test, human ingenuity against impossible odds. Then came the real challenge. The hatch below them began to tilt, loosening from the station's frame. Kale's eyes widened. If it fell, the twins and he would plunge into the abyss. He gritted his teeth. There was only one way. Using the mop handle in his free hand, he propped the hatch against a wall, holding it just long enough for the twins to scramble over, using their tiny claws to grip the metal. Kale's arms burned, muscles straining under the weight, but he would not let go. Finally, the twins were across safely. Kale leapt after them, landing hard, scraping his knees, foam and sparks still flying. The queen hovered, watching silently. She rumbled again, a low vibration through the metal, and then something incredible happened. The glowing symbols on the walls shifted once more, forming a pattern that pulsed in harmony with the twins' scales. A hidden platform descended, a safe path forward, as if the station itself had acknowledged their courage. Kale's chest heaved. He had done it. The twins were safe, fed and following him. But there was no time to celebrate. The queen still watched, eyes glowing with judgment. Kale realized she wasn't just curious, she was testing whether humans could survive and adapt, whether they could protect life under impossible conditions. A sharp, echoing crack made Kale spin. A section of the wall behind them shuddered, sparks spraying. The station was failing fast. He glanced down the corridor and saw the faint outline of another chamber, faintly illuminated with strange symbols and pulsing light. The twins chirped, excited, wings flicking. Kale felt a mix of fear and hope. This could be their way out, or a deeper danger. He pressed forward, holding the twins close, moving quickly but cautiously. Every step was calculated, every move mattered. The queen followed, massive shadow flickering against the walls, neither attacking nor leaving. Kale understood something vital. She had recognized human courage, intelligence, and empathy. His actions had earned respect in a way no words could convey. Then, without warning, the far wall shuddered violently, opening into a narrow passage that pulsed with alien energy. The twins squeaked, wings flaring in excitement. Kale's heart raced. Whatever lay ahead was unknown. It was dangerous, unpredictable, but it was also a chance. A chance to survive, to prove humans could face impossible odds and succeed. Kale inhaled sharply, gripping the twins tightly. Sparks still fell from above, alarms screamed around them, and the queen's gaze followed every move. He stepped forward into the glowing passage, and the twins chirped again, urging him on. The next challenge waited ahead, bigger than anything he had faced yet. Kale stepped into the glowing passage, the twins pressed against his chest, wings fluttering with cautious excitement. The alien corridor pulsed like a heartbeat, faint vibrations under his feet matching the twins' bioluminescent flickers. Every instinct told him this place was alive, somehow responding to their presence. He inhaled sharply, keeping his voice calm. "It's okay. We'll figure this out. Together." The twins chirped softly, nudging the pods he held. The passage opened into a vast chamber, walls covered in intricate, shifting symbols. A soft hum filled the air, vibrating in harmony with the twins' scales. Kale's eyes widened. This was not just a hidden part of the station, it was some kind of control hub. The twins were the key. He felt a thrill of realization. Their connection to the glowing symbols had unlocked a living system. Maybe the station itself could help them escape the danger behind them. The queen appeared at the entrance, massive and imposing, wings folded but body taut with attention. She watched silently as Kale stepped forward, guiding the twins carefully across the chamber floor. Sparks still fell from distant cracks in the ceiling, but the room seemed safer here, bathed in soft alien light. Kale realized she had granted them a fragile truce, recognizing his courage, his intelligence, and the care he had shown the twins. Kale knelt, setting the twins down gently. "See this?" he said, tapping one of the pods on the floor. It rolled toward a symbol on the wall, which pulsed brighter in response. The twins chirped and nudged it further. Kale's heart lifted. The small creatures were interacting with the chamber like partners in a dance, their tiny movements activating systems he didn't understand. He had no idea what it all meant yet, but it worked. A low rumble shook the chamber, and the queen stepped closer, massive shadows stretching across the floor. Kale stayed calm, keeping the twins between himself and her imposing figure. One twin batted at a pod, and the wall symbol shimmered in reply, pulsing in rhythm. Another pod rolled, nudged by the second twin, and the room lit brighter. The queen tilted her head slightly, a slow acknowledgement of Kale's actions. Somehow she understood. Humans could act with intelligence, courage, and compassion, even in impossible situations. The station shuddered again, a deep vibration that ran through the floor. Sparks flew along exposed wiring, and a distant alarm blared, signaling further structural failure. Kale grabbed the twins and rolled with them, using their movements to guide pods toward the glowing panels. As the symbols responded, a hidden platform descended from the far wall, forming a safe path forward. Kale's chest swelled with relief, another small victory earned by observation, quick thinking, and trust. He pressed forward carefully, following the platform as it led them deeper into the chamber. The twins chirped, wings flicking, clearly aware of the importance of their actions. Kale realized something profound. The station systems weren't just tools, they were alive, sentient, or at least partially aware, responding to beings who understood it. Humans, he thought, could adapt, understand, and act in ways no machine, or alien, might anticipate. The queen hovered behind, silent but attentive. Kale glanced at her massive form and understood her judgment. He had proven himself not through strength but through courage, intelligence, and empathy. He had faced impossible odds, protected the helpless, and acted decisively when no one else would. And in return the queen allowed them passage. The twins chirped happily, nibbling gently at the floating pods. Kale smiled. They had survived and they had connected, forming a fragile alliance across species. Yet Kale's mind raced ahead. The symbols, the twins' patterns, the queen's response, it was more than a rescue. This was part of something bigger, something he didn't fully understand. He watched as the final wall panel shimmered, revealing a star map, faintly glowing with a network of lights stretching across the galaxy. The twins chirped, wings beating faster as though urging him to look closer. Kale felt a chill of realization. The twins weren't just creatures, they were a key to an ancient system, a puzzle the queen's species had preserved for centuries. "Looks like this is only the beginning," Kale whispered, holding the twins close. Their small bodies pressed against him, wings flicking in excitement. He traced a finger along the star map, seeing lines and symbols that hinted at lost worlds, hidden knowledge, and mysteries long forgotten. The queen rumbled softly, a sound that seemed almost approving. Kale understood. Humans could rise to challenges not by brute force, but by observation, empathy, and courage. He turned toward the twins, smiling despite the exhaustion. "We did it," he said. "But there's more out there. And we're going to see it all, together." The twins chirped again, nuzzling him as if in agreement. Kale felt a surge of hope. They were not just survivors, they were explorers, adventurers, and perhaps something even greater. Messengers in a galaxy that had underestimated humanity. The lights pulsed one last time, forming a new symbol on the wall, almost like a signature or a promise. Kale realized it was an invitation, a challenge. The station had acknowledged him, the twins, and the human capacity to act when all odds seemed impossible. The queen watched silently, a living witness to the proof that humans could shine where others faltered. Kale stepped onto the descending platform, twins cradled securely. Ahead lay a corridor glowing with alien energy, pulsing like a heartbeat. Sparks and alarms were fading behind them, but the mysteries ahead were just beginning. He inhaled deeply, courage surging. Whatever awaited them in that corridor, ancient worlds, lost civilizations, or unknown dangers, he would face it, not as a scared human but as a protector, a thinker, and a guide. And somewhere deep in the patterns on the walls, he could feel it. The station was alive, waiting for the next move. And Kale Ren, the janitor, the human, the unlikely hero, was ready to step into the unknown. The twins chirped in excitement, wings flicking like tiny flashes of starlight, and Kale smiled. The adventure had only just begun.